For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, 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 for the record.
All right, and we're back again. Boy, Mr. Prez. And then to my left,
it's your boy Cash, man. What's good, man?
Hey, man. You know, we back at it once again on this thing, man. Seems like we don't never leave this room.
No, we can't, man. We can't, man. This the studio. It is what it is at this point.
Yeah. But we back again for one of those the continuation of the series, Only the Classics. We love this series, man. I know I love it. I love it. I love going back over these old ones. And I think we've been getting a nice little traction on it. So I think everybody else finally catching on, finally coming back to it. So you want to tell them about the one that we got on the agenda for today?
The year was 2005. You had Ludacris. You had all sorts of guys, 50 Cent, all sorts of music, just the essence of hip hop culture, you know, that boom bap rap that you heard from LA to New York to the Midwest. It was kind of lacking. Mm-hmm. And here comes who we're gonna talk about today, little brother from North Carolina, Raleigh.
North Carolina. J. Cole was on this?
Home of Petey Pablo.
Petey Pablo.
No disrespect to Petey Pablo. But I mean, that's all I had known from North Carolina at that point. So just to hear a refreshing project from three relatively unknown dudes at the time, because they came in the game and I had no idea who these guys were. Apparently they had an album that came out before this called The Listening. Didn't know about it.
Off the Chitlin Circuit, right?
Off the Chitlin Circuit. And that was another one too, Chitlin Circuit, you know. So they had stuff out, but I just wasn't hip to it. So that's when me and Frank got together, or Prez rather. We got together and was like, yo, what the hell is this? And why do these guys sound so damn good?
I think you're leaving out a key element for it. We had just started listening to getting put on to Knife Wonder. And that's what drove us to start like, okay. Because I know I was on, like, I know you probably wasn't on it, but it was that Murs and Ninth.
Yeah, I was on Murs and Ninth.
Okay.
I wasn't a huge fan of Murs at the time, but
yeah. So I think it was Murs 316. It was one I was listening to like nonstop. But yeah, so that drove me to like see what else he was like producing, popping up in my radar, and then like, hey, so we got this little brother. Check it out.
So man, you want to get into it? Let's not further delay it, man.
Okay.
This album I've been waiting to talk about for a long time, man. So
Lil Brother, you probably asking like, who is Lil Brother? So that is Fonte, Big Pooh,
and Ninth Wonder.
They make up the group of Lil Brother. So this album is Welcome to the Minstrel Show, or the Minstrel Show. They have a concept going on constantly on this album. The concept is just like, it's a play off of UPN. If y'all don't know what UPN used to be, I think it was the CW now. That what it used to be back then. Had like the WB Frog, and now they changed up a couple different times. But it was the shows that had all your black sitcoms, majority of the black sitcoms, which you had Moesha, Everybody Hates Chris came off there, Malcolm and Eddie. Like it was just.
If you in your late 20s to late 30s, you know exactly what we're talking about as far as UPN. But they did a whole dope ass play on it, calling UBN, You Black Ninjas Network, and the entire theme. I love theme albums. Like when it's done right with this much precision and detail, and we'll get into it as we go through the tracks. But it just takes you on a journey as far as a story the whole entire time, and the concept couldn't be pulled off any better, as we'll get into it later.
They're gonna introduce you to several characters on this album, like for skits in between.
Percy Miracles,
man. They had some good ones, man. Some memorable ones, man. That's always gonna catch you. So we'll go ahead and start off on it.
Yeah, man. So welcome to the Minstrel Show. That's just a minute and a half. That's just a quick little skit. But it kind of sets the tone. You are now watching UBN. You Black Ninjas Network. Welcome to Raleigh, North Carolina. Man, this was just at the time like, what am I got to get into? So then they get it right into Beautiful Morning, and man, I had no idea who Fonte was, no idea who Big Pooh was, and I'm like, oh, these dudes are rapping at this point. This is when Fonte became one of my favorite rappers throughout this entire album. Like off of one listen, he got me hooked. Beautiful Morning, as we say time in and time out when we talking about only the classics, or if we just covering the regular album. You got to set the tone with the lead song. How you feel about Beautiful Morning, Press?
Oh man, like it's an adversity song, man. Just telling you, like, hey, you got to get past like all that other nonsense. The day is what you make out of it. So it's a little different, like than the trap rap that was like popping and everything like at the time. So it was more just real everyday struggle type that you're going through. Like ain't nobody out here slanging, doing all this other stuff. It's just, hey, what I deal to on the day to day, going to my regular job. So something for the regular ass people.
Yeah, this is about regular Joe Schmoes that are doing their thing. And that's what we were. We weren't no gangsters. We came from different circumstances. I'm referencing Prez and I. But like the rest of our friends, none of us ultimately decided to continue on with that street life. And these guys were giving you just real day-to-day dude perspectives. And kind of going away from that for a second, I feel kind of old, Prez, because as I was doing research, it's the 15-year anniversary of this album.
15 years?
Yeah, last month, September 13th, this album turned 15.
They ain't dropped no special album, nothing like that?
No, they didn't do anything.
Well, I'm sure. Special. We're going to do them.
Yeah, this is right the special right here. This is the flowers right here, man. So, but yeah, Beautiful Morning set the tone. The Becoming is the next one. So how you feel about that one? I know you got some notes on that one.
Yeah, The Becoming, man. It was like on some teleprompter shit. I got you watching your words, man. It was just like some like sprinkle little lines up in there like that, man. Just like, whew, okay, yeah, he telling the truth. Hey, you want to watch what you say around me or what you say about me, you know?
And truth be told, man, like, you know, I know a lot of people, as time has gone on and past this album, people gave Big Pooh his props as time went along, but I didn't think Big Pooh slacked at all. Like, clearly Fonte was probably my preference, but Big Pooh, by no means, I would have listened to a solo album from him at this point if they would have did a solo albums right immediately after that, because Big Pooh was doing this thing the entire joint, and I think his stuff was probably a little bit more relatable in a certain sense and what he was saying. So yeah, The Becoming is just a lot of bars.
I'm trying to picture back, man. And I probably should have had this written down. But I know like one of them was deep in the game and the other one was just like coming up. He had been dabbling in here and there, but he wasn't the strongest link up there. And it took a while. And like this was him actually like stepping up, holding, going bar for bar, like with him, like holding his own in this setting.
Yeah, and people always that's kind of, you got it exactly right. Ninth knew Fonte first.
Okay.
Then Big Pooh came along, but Big Pooh is younger than Fonte by a few years, so that's kind of how that dynamic stretched out. And yeah, again, Fonte had been doing this thing before him as being older. So, but again, still a great meshing of the minds. He still rapped like he was trying to prove something, even though he's in the same group with him. Like, so I thought that was something that you'll hear through a theme throughout the whole entire album. But moving on to Not Enough.
Oh, Not Enough. Dope
gracious.
Beat, dope rhymes. This hip hop stuff ain't really that hard.
I still say that to this day. As far as when I'm reviewing the album, I just want dope beats, dope rhymes. What more do y'all want? That's the line that he says.
Yeah.
And I say that to this day. If the music is jamming, people gonna find your music. Just keep doing what you're doing. As far as I'm, aspiring artist. Like, if your shit is jamming and you sound different than 95% of everybody else, the people are gonna find you. However, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's just a discovery.
Yeah. If you're doing that, what you do and what you love, and actually putting it out, like people will get traction towards you, and you just gotta keep at it. I mean, that goes back to what they were saying on that first song, "Beautiful Morning." It's just like you got to push past all that. Every day is just a new adventure, just a new way to get forward, new way to just keep moving. You gotta set that mindset. It's how you go out there and look at that day.
So here's the other thing, right, Prez? So I'm listening to an entirely rapidy rap album at this point, And
it was
then
like
the
a
next
backpack rapper, right?
Backpack, you know, it's shit that I liked at the time because I was more so into how well you can rap and not like the entirety of the song and hooks. Like I care about that now more than just being able to rap. I care about you being able to make a song. But at the time, I'm just thinking about rap. So then the next song comes on. Cheating comes on, and I'm like, yo, what am I listening to? This is hilarious. Like this is like during Boondocks era. This is Dave Chappelle era, and I'm like, yo, this is genius. Like how they flipping this R. Kelly.
So they
sample.
got a fake Ron Isley, a fake R. Kelly. So they got Percy Miracles and Mr. Biggs or Mr. Diggs.
And
right?
if you didn't know, and if you're not hip to Little Brother, this is actually Fonte singing on it, and now he's gone on to Foreign
Percy
Exchange.
Miracles is a legend. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, legend in the making right there.
They actually brought him back on another album, one of their latest albums. But yeah, continue on, Prez, man.
Yeah, well, it was the one line that always gets me on that, man, is like when he's singing, he was like, "You got the 2,000 minute plan, all in your minute, man."
Yeah, that took me back. Like, damn, we did have minute plans back in the day. And then like that one part where, as I'm first listening to it, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Eight,
and then when you get to like what 15 or something like.
11, 12, nothing to rhyme with 15.
Bro, it was just a funny skit, but it's catchy. Like it's a skit that you're not gonna skip over because like, hey, he's actually singing and it's got a nice tune to it. Yeah,
yeah, man. So that was a dope one. But next up, man, I think this is the one with Joe Scudder on it, right?
Oh man, Joe Scudder. Anytime he came on here, bro.
Hide in place.
Anytime Joe Scudder came on there, man, it was just like, man, like who is this guy? I don't think he was like a full-time rapper. I ain't never see no albums or nothing drop from Joe. He would just like come out there like the guy you just had up there. Hey man, you want to get on this track? Yeah, I got something real quick.
I'm looking. I know he was part of Justice League, but I'm looking to see if Joe Scudder actually had a solo album, and I don't think I have it here on Tidal, but. Yo, if you watch it and you know Joe Scudder got a solo album or mixtape, let me know, man, because the dude's still nice to this day. Every time I listen to him featured on these Little Brother albums, I love it, man.
Yeah. And this was the first time that we've heard, I heard one of a rapper that I constantly look for on the regular when he drops stuff. Elzai.
Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, Hide in Place was just another bar filled soul sample laced track, and then man, like I said, man, Lil Brother is killing this shit so far.
What he had
specifically Ninth Wonder with the production.
You said it perfectly because I think one of his lines up in there was just like, "I'm raw, stripped down, no minerals, a distilled MC, no chemicals, no subliminals." So that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the raw, uncut, like you saying. Like he's gonna get the pure out of it, man. Just the love. You can hear it in his voice and what they're saying. You know that they really mean this.
Yeah, and his cadences too. Like it's just not only just the raw. Yeah, you know me. Where you gonna hide? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like and how hungry Pooh was sounding. I'll say this throughout the album. Pooh sounded very hungry as he was rapping. Throughout the whole thing. I don't have the lines memorized or written down, but I know this song is one of the ones where I'm like, oh, Pooh starting to evolve and get in his bag here.
Yeah.
But then they totally switch pace with Slow It Down, which is the next track. So Slow It Down was like, for me, man, in my younger 20s, I ain't had the smoothest ride with the ladies, man. Yeah. Going through it in different relationships. So like this was my song as far as what I was looking for. As far as Slow It Down and all the different things, how the hook, love is not enough.
Yeah, it was a female track, Slow It Down, but still had that very hip hop feel to it. I mean, before we was flooded with all the rap that's in the hip hop, all that. This they was doing it and sounding very good.
And then Fonte was like, I want a girl when I want a girl, but when I don't want a girl, I need a girl that understands that.
Yeah.
At the time, that shit resonated with me. Like. You
got to give me my free time.
You got to give me my
mission.
Yeah, you got to give me my free time, and it's just like some women you with, man. Like you may not necessarily want them to be your lady, but like he was speaking to the players and the dudes that ain't shit, and they know it. But
ain't that one in the same?
Huh?
Ain't that one in the same?
Yeah, I mean, you can not be a player and be ain't shit. You just, you just doing your thing freely, but you want your cake and eat it too. And most any self-respecting
and
woman,
I ain't knocking that name.
No. Any self-respecting woman ain't going.
You go back in the day. We ain't no saints. We ain't no saints over here.
Yeah,
so.
no, we ain't no saints. We gonna get off that. So,
but at the end of that, man, Percy Mills made his return. At the end of that, had a little singing his little songs. Like every time you hear Percy Miracle, you're gonna laugh, man. I'm telling you, listen at this, man. And it's not a comedy album, but it's just like the stuff that they saying and stuff on there, man. It's classic.
For sure, man. So Fifth in Fashion, that's a skit. We'll kind of get past that. But again, another well-placed skit. It's not too many skits that I listen to when I listen to albums in general, but these are kind of like no skits.
Say it again. Say It Again is my favorite track on this album, man.
Oh, word.
Yeah. I love this song. This one get like I double it back a couple of times whenever I'm listening to it, man. It's gonna get 2 or 3 plays before I go to the next song. Yeah.
I wish we would have nerded out and actually looked at the samples and who sampled what, but this was a dope sample and dope flip by Knife. When it's good. Yeah. So that's a dope one.
I'm overweight, rappers fat to death, obese with these beats, catch wind in my breath. Like, man.
Come on, man. What? Yeah. Again, man.
Just making fun of themselves, like at the same time, and then just like killing it though, man. Like it was good stuff. For
sure, man. So next up, we got Loving It featuring Joe Scudder.
I forgot the other thing.
Which one was it?
It was like a line up in there that had me rolling because he said that fat obese. I'm fat obese. No, that's what I said. I'm overweight. Rappers fat to death. That's what he said.
Yeah.
But then he had a line up in there where he's talking about give me the salad, give Knife the ribs, like saying like, he can't do it.
Yeah, because if you Knife Wonder skinny as hell, and them Pooh and Fonte at the time was pretty big dudes as far as size goes. So yeah, that landed, man. But next up we got track number 10 and Loving It featuring Joe Scudder. So our boy Joe Scudder comes out of nowhere again, delivering one of the best verses on the album, in my opinion. But yeah, this album, again, if you love bars and you love like soul samples, this is it for you. Diary of a Mad Black Daddy.
Man, this skit right here.
This don't remind me of my daddy back in the day.
It reminds me of that. And then me now. I know I do it now. What you up in there doing? Hey, turn that down.
Yeah. Making no sense. Jumping to conclusions with your kids and they be right and shit, but you ain't gonna acknowledge it. You gonna be like, well, just sit your ass down then. Shit you. You wouldn't be finding out nothing was in the cabinet if you weren't looking all the time, eating every goddamn thing. And he like, you just dumb shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Diary of a Mad Black Daddy, man, remind me of my daddy and now who the hell I am as a dad. So that's dope. This can still resonate to this day.
Schoolwork.
No, you want to learn something. Yeah. So yeah, all the dumb sayings our parents taught us, we doing the same shit. But yeah, man, All For You, man, featuring Darian Brockington.
Yeah.
Man, that one, as far as Fonte talking to his father, man, like my pops was in my life for most of my life, as far as just being there. Of course, he, not telling his business, but he had some times where he wasn't, to his own fault and some things he's done. But, for the fathers and for the dudes that's out there that didn't have fathers, this All For You kind of broke it down on a level to where it's like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, it's Fonte was really saying some shit that if I heard that as a father, I'd kind of be hurt.
Yeah. But hey, truth, like, hey, truth behind your words, man. Put that extra feeling in it. Okay. And then we got Watch Me. Next one, right?
Keep watching. You keep watching.
Yeah.
Man, I want to listen to this album right now. I want to be done with this pod. I really want to be done with this video because it's that good. Like every time I listen to it, I hear a line that I want to go back to, and then you listen to the song in its entirety. And 15 years later, as an adult, I was an adult then, but as a full adult with kids. I
mean, and like I said, like this was like everyday stuff. So what they saying in the lines, like, I mean, you come back to and you just like, hey, that resonated. It has a meaning that affects you in your life. And like, it's just like, I think the one in this one was like, when you ego trip, you lose your luggage. Like, yeah, he said that line. I was just like, okay, yeah. Be feeling yourself too much, and you're gonna lose everything else around you.
Yeah, way to remain humble in spite of all your successes. You know what I mean? So, Watch Me. It's a fire track. Sincerely Yours.
This was Big Pooh's highlight.
Yeah.
It was his highlight track right here, man.
And this was his solo.
Yeah, that's
his
saying.
solo. Yep.
Yeah.
So Sincerely Yours is one of the ones where I was like,
and he
laid it out on the line.
Yeah, he made this known, man. Like it was, hey, he's arriving.
This was kind of like his not big brother, like when we reviewed Kanye moment, but this was him kind of speaking what he already had been hearing well before people were even saying it. Like I probably said album number 2 for them. That's when people started really saying, Fonte's this, Fonte's that.
Yeah.
But before that, I didn't know those were the whispers too. So he was pretty much telling us in the Minstrel Show with Sincerely Yours, kind of some of the internal battles that he faced. Like it was a healthy competition, but at the same time, it's your friend and your co-rhymer to where you shouldn't have that feeling. But if you are a rapper and you competitive, you're
gonna do it. Like, hey, I got to step it up. And hey, that's what he did. He definitely stepped, like we said, he stepped it up on this whole album, man. And it was just like, now they both here at this level. And this is when you get like masterpiece work, man. This is what they gave us. So the next one, Still Lives Through.
Yeah, I really like this track in terms of just kind of what they're setting the foundation for in future albums. If you are a Little Brother fan, and I highly encourage you listen to more Little Brother after this review, because if you want to hear grown man bars, these are the guys you want to listen to. You want to listen to their solo projects as well, and Still Lives Through kind of gives you a foreshadowing of what these guys ultimately will be.
Yeah, and that "Oh My God" constantly like on the in the background as a sample. Man, just hitting, like, man, they just wrote it perfectly. And I think one time up in there, we actually analyzing this album or going over this album. I think one of the lines up in there was just if you feeling this, you ain't got to analyze it.
Yeah, just like
hey,
dope beats, dope rhymes. Just listen to it, feel the shit, and stop being overly critical of the music and just feel it. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, they were, had the Busta Rhymes sample in there from I forgot what Busta Rhymes songs it was, but again, paying homage to what came before them. And this is 2005, and Busta had already was actively rapping, but showing love as far as that the respect that they have for the legends.
And then you had the closing theme. I think who was it? Chris Hardwick they had on here for the intro and whatever, like.
I can't remember.
Chris Hardwick, like yeah. So, but they had him just closing out, just making it like the end of the show. Everything's over with. It was like the reunion for A Person Miracles. That whole little theme they had, man. Like it's still like closing out that portion.
And even when Percy didn't have skits or whatever, like some of the songs have the skits embedded in them, so it's not necessarily a skit. So you got to listen to the whole album to kind of appreciate it. And then they have, the closing, not the closing theme, but the final song, which is track number 17, We Got Now with Sean Don. That's another guy that I never heard too much from. I know he was from the Bronx. And at the time, like I remember like being super New York heavy and biased on certain rappers I listened to. And then I was checking for him, but I never quite heard him on anything out of Justice League with Ninth Wonder and everybody else from Justice League's production. So again, if y'all know anything of Sean Don, where he got a couple things, I like to kind of peek back with him and Joe Scudder and try to just listen to more of that.
And I'll throw out a little line, man. So the line that got me up in here is if you Xerox my style, that's infringing on my copyright. Like how they play that, the Xerox copy, and then it's copyrighting his songs. Like yeah. So I like that little wordplay that he threw up in there, man. It was way to close it out. Finish up the album, man.
I mean, that's a lot of one-liners you had on there, but like Prez really barely scratched the surface of what you gonna hear in this album as far as bars. Like if you are a bars enthusiast and you've never heard the Minstrel Show, go check this out. This is a classic that stands the test of time. And shout out to Fonte and Big Pooh. Shout out to Ninth Wonder that's still making great, powerful music. These guys have gone their separate ways as far as music, but they still kind of come back together. Little Brother just came back together, last
2019?
year? 2019 to drop something. May the Lord Watch, and that was one of my favorite albums of the year. Again, in their late 30s and 40s now at this point, still speaking to who I am as a man in my late 30s. Yep. So, little brother, if you listening, man, we still love your music. Anytime you drop anything, whether it's solo or together, I'm stopping what I'm doing to listen just as if it's the biggest artist of the moment dropping.
Yep, same thing here. Love your music. This right here, classic. Never gonna go out of style. Never gonna not get played within a year of my time frame. And I'm gonna put everybody onto it that I can and know that like this type of music. Hopefully y'all are too. If you do, like it, subscribe, send it out, share it with people, and then go listen at the album. Most of all, man. Like y'all heard us talk about it, but go listen at the album, man. You're gonna love this.
And once again, this is Cash and Mr. Prez to my right. This is Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. You can find us on Facebook under Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast, Instagram, DSC_podcast, YouTube. Clearly you're watching this, or if you're listening, you can find us on YouTube at Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast. Am I forgetting anything else? T-shirts.
We got T-shirts. We got the Patreon. Yeah. We got everything. All of it's be in the link tree or in the description below.
Yep. Yeah. However you listening or you're watching, just go to the show notes and you can get our merch. You can get become a Patreon if you like what we're doing. You could definitely support help us get better equipment, help us get editors, and we do all of this off the strength for the love of the music. So we would love to pass it off so we can be able to give you more at a rapid rate of the stuff that you like, if you like it. So go check out our different tiers on our Patreon site.
Hey, the top tier, you get to throw out a segment of your own. So if you want us to review a certain album or whatever, hey, that's your way to get in on there. To throw it out on Patreon, we'll make room if you're on that tier. If you say, hey, I want y'all to do this right here, we'll find a way. Well, Zach P will.
We're about 3 albums in to this Only the Classic series, I believe. 4 now, counting this one. We got Beanie Siegel, Kanye West, Common, and now this Little Brother episode. So, the biggest thing you could do if you don't want to be a patron and you don't have it is share it with 10 of your people, minimum, that you know are going to watch it. Minimum of 10.
Minimum.
You share it and then, let us know how we're doing, man. You got any last words, Prez?
Nah, thank y'all for the support. Thank y'all for watching. Prez out.